Is it? No. This has to be on.
I don't know. That thing is just too freaking long. I feel like I say it week after week and it just keeps getting longer. Oh, it's so good to be back.
Yes, it is.
It's been a while. Probably not for you guys, but for us, it's been a couple weeks since we last recorded.
Yeah, no, we've done it week after week after week of putting out. That sounded wrong. Excuse me, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But we had started this a long time ago too, so it was able to be and stay consistent, which is nice.
Yes. So before we get started with our introductions, or do we do our introductions first?
Intros first.
Okay. Hey,
let the people know who we are.
Hey guys, we're back. We never left. We never left you, but it's been a while for us.
It has.
So I feel like this is the first time all over again.
Yeah, because we had. Well, I had jury duty.
Touched for the very first time.
Oh,
okay,
that was good actually.
That was
high five for us.
Okay. Another genuine start to the show. All right. I am Vanessa Mans at Mind of Vans on Instagrams. You are watching Adventures in Vanderland. And over here to my right or your left.
I am Sylvia from Maiden of the Forest. That is Maiden of the Forest Tarot. That's underscores under each one. I'm sorry, in between each one. You forgot the dots.
I forgot the dots. I did.
Is that way you know what you're reading on Instagram? Now, I have morning announcements.
They smell delicious, by the way. I can just, all I have is this chocolatey wafting into my nostril hole.
So I have morning announcements. As we know, I am a tarot reader. I also work with Tea and Tarot up in Madison. Big news. This episode should be coming out roughly around 4th of July. So big news for Tea and Tarot. Second location is opening up. It's having the grand location opening on the best button ever. The 10th of July. So
that's the day before my birthday.
Yeah, 7-Eleven.
Ah!
So our grand opening will be the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. Now the 13th will have a high tea, so it's a little bit more of a formal event. That is a ticketed one. But the 10th, 11th, and the 12th free game. So come on by, check out the shop, meet all of our guest practitioners. We also have our animal psychic and tea leaf reader, Rebecca, who does Beyond the Veil baking. So she has her wonderful cookies that are absolutely transcendent. Speaking of cookies, because you do smell these, I have to make sure that they're in frame because look at those. Look at these. Okay, so these are, hold on, let me get my notes because I can't remember everything all at once either. So these are from Sky Desserts, and it is from Yashika Coffee, and they're called Bayou Baddies. Okay, so meet the Bayou Baddies brownies by Sky Desserts. She created inspired by her favorite Bayou princess, also yours, Tiana. They're made and created with Black Girl Magic, sweet Southern charm, and they're destined to leave you spellbound, folks. You can find it at Sky Desserts on Instagram. She also has amazing sweet rolls. She made a sweet roll with like Nutella and Biscoff. I was like, what? It looked amazing. They look amazing, and these smell amazing. So, bite.
Well, since he offered,
we have to. We have to at least try it, right? Oh wow, that's soft.
Oh my god, Red Velvet's like one of my favorites.
Oh,
I just hear myself
this
chewing.
Is good. This is good.
This is so good.
I want to warm this up and put a little ice cream on it.
I want some milk to go with this right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, second bite and then.
No, not even a second bite because I will take too long.
I'm gonna just put that right there.
Put that there.
Okay.
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 Sky Desserts. That's 2 thumbs up.
Check her out.
Check her out. She does orders. You can get it for summer. You can get them for whatever you want. Your cookouts, whatever you want.
Dang. And my
good.
tummy was rumbling too.
And they're not sticky. Like I always avoid brownies because like I'm always afraid of them sticking to my teeth. But those are nice and soft.
Those are great.
All right. Well, we're going into our episode. And what is this episode called? It's part 2, right?
Part 2 of Who Wore It Best.
Ah, yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, so last week we compared the remake versions of what? Cinderella, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
The Little Mermaid, and you did Mulan.
Yeah.
So there were those 5. This week for homework, we did The Jungle Book.
I did all 3 Jungle Books.
Good for you. We did The Jungle Book. We did Snow White, the new one.
Mm-hmm.
We did The Lion King.
And Mufasa.
Although it wasn't a remake, it was a prequel, but, you know.
Oh, we'll get into it, because I enjoyed myself.
We can get into it. Was there another one we did?
Let's see. Jungle Book.
Hold on.
Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. So, I took notes on Lilo and Stitch and The Jungle Book and Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
And I left them at home.
Yeah, you don't have a huge packet.
I left them on my printer as I left the house today. So, we'll be just off the dome. We'll go off of your extensive notes.
Okie dokie.
So I know I can just react to your notes. The Lion King, I did not take notes. Mufasa, I did not take notes. I was struggling.
Are we going to
just
start
to stay
with the
awake.
Lion King?
We might as well, because
okay.
Can I just say, it was the worst homework.
It
It was the homework I procrastinated on the most.
I was procrastinating with The Lion King as well, because I remember watching it in theater and not having a good time.
Same.
Now I rewatched it and I realized what my issue is.
It wasn't as bad. I realized what my issue was too. But go ahead.
Okay, so my issue was, I don't know if you know this, I went to school for animation.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 2D and 3D animation, and I'm like, there's something wrong with this texture of all of these animals. They're way too descriptive. Like, they're way too descriptive, like, visually. Like, you would lose some of this detail and texture with the human eye for the animals. And I'm like, they're trying to make cartoon animated expressions on these real life type animated, and it's like the texture editor. There was something with the texture editor with the UV mapping that made it extremely detailed when it did not need to be that extremely detailed.
Okay, so I noticed this time around, especially because I watched Lion King and then Mufasa back to back, I realized that I also had issues with their facial expressions, but I think it was like there was to me, it felt like there was a lack of animation to their face. There was a lack of expression because they're going for these real life animals, right? But like when you look at the cartoon, you can see them smile and frown, and like you can see their emotions that you didn't get in the Lion King remake.
Exactly.
They made it too lifelike, and it was weird. And then also, I'm sorry, the delivery of the lines was just.
I'm sorry. The iconic
Beyonce, I couldn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't with her.
The Beyhive's gonna come for me because I just couldn't with her. Like, girl, it was just like I felt like I could imagine her in a studio just going, Simba, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Girl, give me some emotion. Give me some range. I mean, the range she has in her voice. Why couldn't we give some range in her speaking voice?
I mean, you've seen her act.
The Beehive's gonna come for her.
I'm kind of sorry, but I had to say it, you know? I'm in trouble right now.
We're in so much trouble. Oh my gosh. Okay.
But the songs, like a Scar's song, "Be Prepared."
I was so pissed. Why did they cut it?
What was this? What is that? What was that?
That was one of the best
of like
and then
melody,
like even
that's it.
Even the little bit that they gave us, it was like that song went so hard with the "Be Prepared," like, and it was
it didn't for what?
It didn't go. I didn't love it. They gave Ed a speaking part now, which I was just like, ugh. They didn't.
Yeah, Ed wasn't silly and stupid enough,
right? Was it Lupita Nyong'o that did Shenzi? This one?
Oh, Whoopi Goldberg's part?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not good with names.
I think I thought it was her. It sounded like her, but I did not look up the information. That was like probably one of that and Mufasa himself. Big ups to Mr. James Earl Jones. Like,
oh my god, rest in peace, voice of a legend.
Like those were the only ones that like delivered for me. A lot of the other voices were just
they were bland, and then also
even Timon and Pumbaa.
There was no hula appetizer for the Timon bait scene.
Yeah,
and I understand you can't do that because you're trying to be realistic.
The fact that he said the word farted, I hated it.
Pumbaa,
not in front of the kids.
Sorry,
like. He's like, are you gonna let me say it? I felt like...
Are you gonna stop me?
They were breaking the fourth wall a little too much for me. I think even in the Mufasa movie, they broke the fourth wall too much for me. I didn't care for that bit.
It kind of reminded me of, not The Longest Story. What is it?
Are you
The Never-Ending Story?
The Never-Ending Story?
It almost like gave me Never-Ending Story
I can
vibes,
see that.
But like in the Mufasa one.
Yeah, I can see
We're
that.
focusing on just the Lion King.
Okay, what else do we...
So the animated magic and the fun and the silliness was not there because they were trying to make it a serious Animal Kingdom type vibe, and it just was a miss.
It was a miss for me. I did not care for it at all.
Can we move on to Mufasa then?
Please, let's do it.
Okay, I liked Mufasa.
I did not go to see it.
They had much better songs in Mufasa than the way they did
Lin-Manuel.
Not the animated Lion King.
Lin-Manuel is a freaking genius. I keep saying it. He's a bloody genius. But I didn't go to see it in theaters, especially because James Earl Jones had just died. And I was like, I was so disappointed in The Lion King that I couldn't go and be disappointed in the Mufasa movie, especially like right after he died. So, but then when I saw it on Disney Plus, I was like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Can I tell you my favorite part about Mufasa is the reunification of Anika Noni Rose and Keith David, who played Tiana and Dr. Facilier and Princess and the Frog. I love it. And then her vocal delivery on Malele, that song itself is like beautiful. It leaves me speechless because it was just like, I love that song. I love the meaning of it, the meaning behind it. It was just beautiful.
I love the backstory of Scar, how he was such a good-hearted cub who just always wanted to have a brother.
But I do feel like we do see where he had a lot of entitlement even in his youth. Because I mean, yes, he was the son of the king, but we saw that made him very entitled. What was his name? Taka. Which also, why did they name him Taka? Because to my knowledge, that means garbage in Swahili or Zulu or whatever language it is. It's supposed to mean like garbage.
Interesting. Well, I mean, he wasn't the bravest cub, and we can see that because even during the time where Mufasa was protecting the mother and Taka was right there,
right?
He kind of cowered a bit, and it's like he never got to go with the the lionesses for hunting. He didn't understand how to do that, and his father kind of brought him up to be kind of that way, like, it's for the women to do. You're supposed to just lay here and let the women get you your food. That's a true king. I'm like, no.
Right. But so like we do see two very different types of fathers. Mm-hmm. We see several different types of fathers from Mufasa's father, Obasi. Then we see Mufasa himself as a father. We see Simba as a father. We get to see a lot of different types of fathering.
And Mufasa was a good wingman. He was trying. But he was also making Taka feel uncomfortable by making him lie. He didn't want to lie. He wanted to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he wanted to be honest with his mother, and he wanted to be honest with, oh my God, what was the girl's name?
Sarabi.
Like that wasn't me. And Mufasa was like, yeah, that was you that saved her. Mm-hmm. He's like,
Yeah, he was trying to, he wanted to like be there for his brother and give his brother what he wanted. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like the fact that he just was like, he didn't get his way, so you decide to destroy everything.
Listen, love can make you kind of crazy, and the thing is I can kind of understand, right? Like, okay, I saved this guy as a cub. I saved him and wanted him to be a part of my brother. I lost the race on purpose so he would be a part of my family. I helped him have a place, a home. He's my brother. He is my brother. I will do everything for my brother. And I expressed to my brother that I have a crush on this girl. I really like this girl. What do I do? What do I say? I'm nervous. You know, you've been around girls. Like, how do I talk to them? What do I need to do? And, you know, Mufasa gives him an advice, and he's still kind of anxious and not sure how to go about it. And then, you know, right in front of his eyes, he sees the romance that happens between them two, and he feels betrayed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in that way, he's like, what else could I have done for you to be my brother and have my back? Or at least come to me before you just start going off with this girl. And then it just made him bitter.
I don't know, but we do see how, like, Mufasa tried to resist it, and eventually they had a chemistry that was just stronger. You could tell she was not into Taka from the beginning.
She was not feeling him.
No, but
I also liked how you saw, like, the claws digging a lot of the times, and like,
he did that so many times. That was his thing.
That was his way of, like, gripping him up.
Yeah,
to get him up.
Which actually, now that I think about it, you could see, like, in The Lion King, when he does that, you could see where Mufasa might believe that he was actually about to bring him up.
Yeah.
And I will say that this time around, I was able to enjoy The Lion King slightly more because I had seen Mufasa. And then there were some of the interactions between Mufasa and Scar in the beginning of The Lion King remake that made more sense after seeing Mufasa.
Yeah.
You see them kind of referencing their past a little bit. And I think, like, it probably went over my head the first time.
Yeah, like, if I had, I don't want to see it again, but if I had to see it again, it would probably make more sense of, like, certain things.
I will say, though, I mean, you mentioned the songs. I have one girlfriend that she cannot stand that Bye Bye song. Make it go bye bye.
Make it go
bye bye. She's like, Lin-Manuel can write so much better than that.
It was
like teeny boppy, but
yeah, it is what it was. But, like, I remember writing my notes, and it was like 10 minutes in the movie. I was like, the songs are already better.
The songs are already so much better.
I was like, the songs are already better.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it was the original, you know, because it wasn't trying to be.
And I think that's what it was, is, like, I remember in the theater watching The Lion King. Amazing. I know, I couldn't resist taking another bite. In the theater, I was watching it and I was bored because it was like a dry ass re-delivery of the exact same lines. Whereas with all these other remakes, we see them at least paraphrase, or they add a little bit more. Like, there's something extra. They give us more backstory. They give us more details. They make small changes, which people always backlash about, but at least it gives it some originality. It's not just a straight up replaying of the original, but with real people, you know? And I think that that's another thing that this movie lacked because of the animation. I think with all of the other ones, there's obviously CGI elements in all of these movies with the animals and things like that. But we have real people to kind of help offset that. And without that, I think that was another reason why The Lion King fell flat. I think Mufasa, the animation I noticed was their faces were more animated in Mufasa.
Yeah, which actually kind of helped it a little bit.
That's what helped it.
But again, the same thing for me with the texture editor or the UV mapping. It was like every single strand was detailed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that wouldn't be a thing. That wouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting. But yeah, let's move on. Because we have
a lot and not enough time on that camera.
I know.
But enough on time on this camera. So.
I know. Okay, we got like 20 minutes.
Do you want to move on to Lilo and Stitch?
I think let's save that one for last.
For last, because I have a lot about Jungle Book.
Let's get to the Jungle Book.
Okay, Jungle Book. Animated version.
I felt like that movie was too effing long.
Really? It was like an hour.
Oh my God, it was like the longest movie ever. I think because, like, it was the way that it's just broken up. I think for me, it didn't mesh well with my brain. Like, it was like there was this part and he met this person and then you just see him in another part of the jungle. And I feel like there was like maybe the transitions into like each part of like, or each chapter of the Jungle Book.
I mean, Baby. Panther, brought to the wolves. Wolves.
The cartoon, I fell asleep on it, honestly. Really? I was like bored.
Okay, so
I was like, why do I remember liking this? Honestly, that was
my notes on this was hold on. Okay, so I found that the animated film of the story was about acceptance, nurturing, belonging, and finding the path of yourself, and also letting go. The wolves accepted the man cub as their own. So did the bear, and so did the panther. It was a sense of community, even if it didn't look exactly the right way. It was still a community.
Yeah.
And so it taught about community, and even though he didn't want to leave the jungle, he was just like in awe of that little girl at the end, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, what is she doing? You know, oh my gosh, water."
Yeah, that was his man instincts
and he was like, "Oh, wow."
That was him hitting
girl. I'm gonna follow this girl.
Yeah.
And I felt a little bit bad for the bear. I was like, "Oh, he wanted to be part
Papa
of
Bear."
Yeah.
I will say the remake, I enjoyed it a little bit more. I think
1994 or 2016.
I did not watch the 94 version. I watched it, but I watched the 2016. And I feel like that one I was able to get a little bit more into. It was also very long for me. It I don't know, maybe I didn't take my meds that I don't know.
It was long. It was also slightly different, right?
It was different. I liked some of the different elements. I love that we got to know the wolf pack a little bit more in that movie. And I liked that we got more backstory about how he came to be in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I remember in my notes me wondering like right away, how the hell does he have underwear if he's been in the jungle since he was a baby?
But then you see him as a baby with like long pants.
Yeah. And I was like, question answer. Thank you.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to touch base on that, and they did. I thought that animation was actually pretty well done. I thought the CGI with those animals
it was really good.
Can we talk about Christopher Walken?
Can we talk about the entire cast of that? Lupita Nyong'o was in that. We had Idris Elba. We had
I just thought Christopher Walken's voice was King perfect for King Louis.
It was great. Who else? There was so many other people in that movie. That was at the bottom of my nose. Is like the casting is excellent.
And so that's a great example of showcasing real actors with real voices, giving actual range.
Absolutely.
With the actual delivery versus.
Who was it that was playing Baloo? It was Bill Murray. I think it was Bill Murray playing Baloo. Yeah.
Huh. I really don't know.
It doesn't even matter. It was an all-star cast in the 26. Scarlett Johansson playing Ka.
It was so well done, and I love the fact that even like with Ka, right? In the animated film, they had the different glowy eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are they gonna do that? And I was like, that's cool. How they like made the eyes like shift in different colors, and how the vision was in her eyes of him being a kid, and like how his father passed and everything. I was like, that is cool.
I like the way that they
did that really well.
That, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I like that. I love that she was there and told that backstory. It gave, like, instead of just singing, were there the vultures in this movie?
There were vultures, but they weren't doing anything.
Okay. Yeah.
But I liked in the animated film how there was like
how they were kind of like the Beatles.
Yeah, they were the Beatles, but like also the music at that time.
Yeah.
It was more like doo-woppy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I did like
called.
that. I liked that they showed Mowgli doing his human tricks and things like that. I thought that it was clever. Part of me was like, okay, look at this little problem solver. And do I see some ADHD coding in here?
And he saved the elephant.
Yeah.
And got the respect from the elephants.
Absolutely. I also like that whole bowing to the elephant thing. Like, that was a cool little backstory.
Now, I do want to get into the 1994 version because the 1994 was the very first live action Disney created and was able to put out there. It was the first one. And so the 1994 version also kind of reminded me of how that there is a real true story of a wolf boy in India.
Okay.
And there was actually more than one, but the Jungle Book mostly was, I'll get that into a second. Let's talk about the 1994. So the 1994 version was basically his mother had passed, and then his father again got caught by the tiger. But like as a kid, he grew up.
I'm sorry. I liked the fact that Shere Khan. I forgot that was another note that I had in this 2016 that Shere Khan already had been burned by the red flower, and that was why he hated the man cub. Like it gave him a reason from the beginning to be hunting down this man cub instead of like with the original
like
cartoon.
He didn't finish what he started.
Right. With the original, he just hated man, but you didn't have a reason technically. So
I mean, they did because they touched base on how man destroys in the animated.
Right. But like the fact that he had a personal vendetta against this specific man child. So yeah.
Sorry, trying to find my notes.
I know I interrupted you.
So 1994 version, mother passed away trying to have him as a kid, and so did Kate's mother. So Kate and him had that bond, and they shared a bond as children. And I just like the part where in the beginning he sees his father give a girl a flower and then is able to kiss. And so even as a kid, he gives little Kate a flower and then he goes for a kiss. The little girl in the 1994 version.
I don't remember that.
Watch it. And she screams and she goes, ah, and then she runs away from him, but then she gives him a bracelet. And eventually, as he gets older and is, unfortunately it was a fire that made him, so he had to go into the jungle and live and grow up with the jungle and the wolves and everything. So eventually she finds him with the bracelet because he protects her against a bear, but he kind of plays with the bear as a wrestling thing.
Yeah. In
a way of protecting her, but she doesn't know that. She just thinks this is a crazy man with a crazy bear. Just like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then they try to teach him English and how to be a part of society. And honestly, that was more based on the real story of what is his name? Hold on, it's Dana. Hold on, I got it here. Give me a second. Oh, don't do that.
Sorry, this is from Jeopardy. I
Dana Sanchar. So Dana Sanchar was a real young boy who was raised by wolves. We don't know how exactly he got there.
Crazy.
He was found by hunting men, and these hunters found this pack of wolves and a little boy. And they thought that this boy was in danger, so they killed the wolves, which was actually this little boy's family. It was his mom, his dad, his brothers. They killed them right in front of him, took him. So Jesus. In his eyes, he's probably like, these people just killed my family and kidnapped me.
Wow.
He didn't know how to speak English. He never learned how to speak English. He never learned how to read or write. They kept him in an orphanage, trying to give him to society, trying to have him wear clothes. He couldn't really wear clothes at first. He never liked clothes. And he was walking on all fours. Eventually, he learned how to stand up on 2 feet and walk on 2 feet.
That was another question I had. Is like, if he was actually raised by wolves, why was he like walking around on all fours?
Yeah, no.
Or why wasn't he? But
the wolf children that came into this orphanage in India, because there was more than one, they all walked on fours and they all ate raw meat, and they would take the bones and they would sharpen their teeth with the bones after eating. And they didn't know how to speak. They growled and they tried to learn languages, but it was very hard for them. And for Dana specifically, the only human thing that he really learned how to do that he enjoyed was smoking. And so he ended up passing. He never left the orphanage. He ended up passing away due to tuberculosis around 29 years old. But there was other wolf children too. So he got very fond of one in particular who was a friend, and they sympathized with one another. Yeah. And it was almost like being a part of a pack again. But it's just amazing that this was based on a real true.
That's something I never.
And
knew.
The author also decided that he was going to write a little bit about it, but in his own ways, which there became Mowgli, and he actually created the Jungle Book for his daughter who was struggling with pneumonia.
Wow.
So I definitely did a deep dive.
She did a deep dive. You went all in. This is about to be called Mind of Sylv.
I love the I almost said 1944, the 1994 version, because it was, I just thought it was a beautiful movie.
I'm going to have to rewatch it.
I honestly thought it was a beautiful movie, especially the way they taught him English.
I have to rewatch it. I don't really remember that much. I know I saw it like in the 90s, but I don't remember a ton from it. But I love that. Thank you for like that little education piece.
Mm-hmm.
So,
moving on.
Snow White.
We gotta do it. We gotta go in.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I have my notes, but I want to hear what you have to say.
I hated it. Yeah, Snow White. I mean, like the first 4 minutes, I was just like, oh my god. I hated it. Like just the opening number, I was not into it. I was like, what is this? What even is this? What are we doing? I couldn't I had to stop and restart the movie so many times because I just like did not want to continue watching it. I would have walked out of the theaters probably if I'd gone to see it in the theater. I just wasn't into it. I was like, it was trying too hard for me. I was like, the original Snow White wasn't a musical, and we didn't need this one to be. I don't know. Did the king look weird to you in the beginning? Like, I don't know if it was the costume, the makeup. I don't know. He just looked weird to me. Like,
you feel like he had a little CGI on his face?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay. I'm like, am I crazy? Is this guy CGI?
Like, what kind of makeup is this?
Right. Like, all the people in the square dancing, it was giving, like, you know what's funny is I felt like it was giving, like, Broadway vibes, and then I found out that it was the music and I think the choreography was done by the same team that did Dear Evan Hansen and another musical. I don't remember which one. But I was like, well, this makes sense. And I'm like, I don't want Broadway for a musical, like a movie musical.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a movie musical, we don't necessarily need Broadway. The musical numbers were too long for a movie for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For like all of them. The bit with her and the Jonathan guy, which also I'm like, where's the prince? As much as I hate the prince, I was like, where's the prince?
Yeah, they replaced him with that.
I know, and I didn't like it.
I actually kind of liked it.
I like the fact that they got to know each other over time.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how the story built.
I liked that weird awkwardness of like, no, we're not. We're not.
Oh yeah, that was cute. That little bit was cute. Their little duet thing that they did in the woods was like, it was cute-ish, but I was just like,
I like that they saved each other at times.
Yeah.
And this is
where I felt like, you know, every scene I felt like I was getting hints of other movies.
Yes, and I'll explain it to you.
Go for it, because since I don't have my notes, I remember one scene I was like, this is giving Rapunzel vibes. Now she's giving Belle vibes. Now she's giving mermaid vibes. Like, it felt like they were taking elements from all the big princesses and trying to change who Snow White actually was.
So,
go for it.
The other movies that I associated with was the Snow White 2. This is a segue for you to watch.
Okay.
The second one. Yes, it's Filmation and not Disney. This is why certain things made sense, because it was like, oh, if I didn't watch that, I'd be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't watch that film, I would be like, where is this coming from? Why this would make no sense. Like, for example, the dwarves having magical hands. That probably made no sense to you, right?
I was like, this is different.
Yeah. Well, in the second one, the dwarf elves...
I did watch like half of the movie.
Okay. But in the second one, the dwarf elves, they have magical powers. They were gifted by Mother Nature. They were created and gifted these powers from Mother Nature. And so it makes sense that cousins of the dwarf elves, the dwarves, have also magical powers to help them mine. But going into like a little bit of my notes and trying to remember my notes, I thought I was going to hate it. And I didn't hate it completely. But there was things about it I just did not like. But I didn't hate it completely.
I did not love the Wicked Stepmothers, her musical number. I was
no, I did not like that at all. I'm sorry, Gal Gadot. I love you. I
love her.
You are beautiful, but your voice is not that song.
And then also, I mean, maybe I don't even know if it was completely her. First of all, her voice was not it for me, but also the tone of that song was not.
It was flat.
It was just like, you're supposed to be evil. Like, why are you singing this like little bitty bop boop boop? No, I want to hear, like, I want to be prepared kind of a song. I want a tone like that from my villain.
I will say, eventually, when she came into her actual full costume, I was like, that's cool. But it was the costuming that was cool, not the song. But, okay, so.
Also, Snow White's costume bugged the hell out of me. Why did the zigzag?
Why did it have to be so yellow?
First of all, no, the stitching. It's the stitching for me because it went zigzag like this. It wasn't crisscross where it was actually meant to hold something together. The stitching across her sleeves, like, you know, like it was ripped and but it wasn't tight. Like, why wouldn't you tighten it and make your sleeves back together? It was like a design, but it wasn't functional and it bothered me.
So I didn't like that it was too bright of a yellow. I also didn't like that there was tulle. But okay, so I had to go back and rewatch the original Snow White. Okay,
I want to do that again.
Now, when I rewatched the original Snow White, I was like, oh, that makes sense. I was like, okay, she is an animal psychic.
What?
Hear me out. Hear me out. She doesn't manipulate animals. She is able to communicate with animals. I didn't find her manipulating animals. I saw her cleaning things with the animals. I saw her dusting things with the animals.
She said, you get the broom, you get the mop.
But she wasn't trying to be a freeloader. She was like, maybe if I clean up a little bit, maybe they'll let me stay.
That's nice.
It wasn't like if I do this, they'll do this.
Do you want to know what?
But then also the whole like the things and the images in the dark forest. It's like, you know, like I have gifts too, so I see faces in trees. I see faces in certain things.
But in broad daylight.
But in that time, it was a darkened part of the forest.
I'll let you have it.
Okay.
I'll let you have it.
And then also back then, again, it could be different gifts.
Okay.
And in a frightened state, and now that's another thing. She was trying to have courage, right? And that's why in the remake, in the animated film, she was very sorry about scaring the animals. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you. She's like, I know what it's like to be scared. I'm scared too. And she's like, I'm a little ashamed about it. And so that makes it make sense in the second one where it's like, okay, heart be true, and then also have courage. And that's something that she struggled with a lot with the second one, but she was trying to show up with courage in different ways of the courage. So I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. Like the transitioning. That makes sense.
Okay.
But yes, Snow White 2 made this movie make more sense to me. If that makes sense. But I didn't get Animal Psychic out of this one. Out of the new one. Out of the remake one.
Well, that's because she didn't have animals clean the house. She made the dwarves do it. But can we talk about...
That's true.
Oh my god, I hated the dwarves. I hated the dwarves.
Oh, that pissed me off.
I mean, like...
You could have had so many great actors.
So many.
You could have had so many
and then especially, and it pissed me off even more when they gave Dopey a speaking... Like, they made Dopey start speaking, and you didn't give that to an actual, like...
Yeah, Dopey was a narrator.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Who was Olaf? The same voice that does Olaf?
No, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It did sound like him, but it wasn't.
No?
No.
It sounded exactly like him.
It did sound a lot like at the beginning. I thought it was Olaf. I was like, they got Josh Gad to do this, but like I looked it up, and the guy that plays Dopey is a different person.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember his name, but I'm like, they didn't even cast like little people to do the freaking voiceover. Like, I love Titus Burgess, but come on, like I'm like. I don't know how much it costs to do CGI animation like that.
Okay, let me get into that because it costs a lot of money.
But I'm like, you could have taken all that money and hired actors and taken a lot less time.
Yes, and it takes a lot less time because here's the thing.
Because
2D
all of those
and 3D animation we're known as dot pushers. Okay, so we have a bunch of dots that are called verts and vertices, and basically you have to. It's a ton of it's a 8 billion dots for one scene, okay? Right. And the amount of effort and work and math that you have to do and texture editing and UV mapping just to get into
for
the world
for
of the
one
animation.
Scene, for one character.
That's just to build it. That's just to build the world. And that's just to build, you have to build the skeletons for the animation as well. So it's called a rigging system. You have to build lighting. You have to do all the lighting and everything. Do you know how much work that is? You could have just
I can only imagine how much work. And then that gives like people who are marginalized, gives them representation, actual representation.
Exactly. You're basically spitting in the faces of people that are very gifted as actors who happen to have dwarfism.
Exactly. And I like it.
That's like animating someone to be black instead of using someone who's black. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but like no, it's literally like they animated people that they could have hired.
Exactly.
I'm like you can't tell me there's not 7 actual like small people in this world who could have filled in those parts.
There is, and you know what Disney said? Oh, you know what? We appreciate it.
Like I don't understand the decision.
But we're gonna go a different way.
I don't understand the decision to make them CGI. I don't get it. Like the birds and the squirrels and all of that jazz. Fine, make those guys CGI because whatever. And I will say the birds look pretty good.
You know what? The animals were super animated looking, and I was like, you know what? That also helped a little bit with the Lion King. Less realism, more anime.
Yeah, like I liked the CGI animals that they had in there, but the dwarves, like, no, it just pissed me off every scene that they were in.
Oh, speaking of CGI, let's go back to the Jungle Book. 1994, I feel like used real animals.
I feel like they did too, because CGI wasn't have been that good back then.
Real animals,
which is insane.
And then in the Jungle Book 2016, that was animated, and I feel like those animals were animated better in that than in Lion King.
Oh, definitely.
So that just proves to show that the detail and the texture editing is getting a little too detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, no, I see exactly what you mean.
Because I know that this episode was also going to be about the overly use of the CGI.
So then, are we done with Snow White? Because
I'm done with Snow White.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again on purpose.
I wouldn't watch it again on purpose. I will say, it wasn't.
It wasn't as
awful. It wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be.
But it wasn't great.
I
wasn't pleasant. I was hoping I might be pleasantly surprised, but I wasn't.
I wouldn't have paid money to see that movie.
No, not at all.
Which is why we waited until it was on Disney Plus for not renting.
Exactly. But Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh my God, I loved it. And I will say, I think there wasn't as much CGI elements to this. Mm-hmm. They had a lot more real actors and real scenery and all of that. So I think it.
Can we talk about how they kept some of the actors from the original?
I loved that. The social worker? The social worker who was Nani. Yeah. I think the manager at the hotel was the original David.
And the manager was also Mowgli.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Who was also the villain in Mulan.
Okay.
Who was also Bruce Lee. Okay, sorry. I'm going off on a tangent.
All right. But yeah, I loved that. Wait, when she made Capri Sun tea though, I thought that was the cutest thing.
She's just like,
That was Nani. That movie actually proved to me even more that Nani is ADHD coded. Like the fact there was nothing in that cupboard, and she's like, "I will make you some tea with my very last Capri Sun." That was a problem solving. But also, and then the neighbor lady, she kept calling her, I don't remember what the term was, but she said her, I don't know, cockamamie brain or something like that. And I was like, yeah, your brain is working different.
I'm a little sad that I didn't get to see her kick the car and be like, stupid. Did it? From the animated one where she kicks the car of bubbles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't. But like I said, I don't think that everything needs to be exactly, I like the fact that
it wasn't, but it was still really good.
Yeah. I didn't love the, what is it? Pleakley and Jamba or whatever.
They could have done something with Pleakley. They really could have done something there.
Pleakley was fine for me. It was the Jamba character, Zach Galifianakis, whatever his name is. He can go kick rocks with Beyonce. It felt flat for me. First of all, I'm sorry, I missed the Russian accent.
Yeah.
Like, that Russian accent was like just so good.
Yeah, that was good.
And I'm like, I feel like Zach, his voice was just, he was delivering lines. And I actually read something. I want to say it was like, I might have read it on IMDb, where when I think he was originally casted as Pleakley. And then the director came back and said, "Oh, do you mind like actually doing this one?" And he's like, I don't care what you want to cast. Like, I'm gonna not say no to being in a Disney movie. It was basically like he didn't care who he played, he didn't care how he played it, as long as he was just cast in the movie. Like, he just wanted to be in a Disney movie. Like, that was on his bucket list. And I felt like it showed. Like, I felt like there was a lack of caring.
Like, if that's on your bucket list, wouldn't you want to like put your all in there?
I don't know. Like, is it? Oh, did it stop recording? Hit the record button. We must have hit time. Oh, it's fine. But I feel like there was just a lack of caring for that character. Like, you know, when people say that when they get into a character, like, they identify with the character, they love that character, they become that character, and you can see that he was just there delivering lines.
Yeah, I don't think he understood the full depth of John Bob, because he loved and he created Stitch and he loved Stitch.
Right.
Especially, you know, when you get to the second one and then you get into like the other ones. By the way, the Stitch had a glitch, made me cry so much.
Wait, what was that? Was that in this movie? In the remake?
No, the second one.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched that recently, so
okay. Get ready to cry.
This movie made me cry at the end, like, especially when, you know, with Nani going off to college. I love that we got to see her go off to college.
A lot of people had issues with that. They said that that's not Nani.
Oh my god! You sent me that video. Did you send me that video with that a-hole talking about, oh, this is what women want to do? They want to go to college instead of taking care of the home. Like, what are you talking about?
People forget Nani was her sister, and they're like, oh yeah, so much for Ohana. I was like, listen, the woman right across the street, it's about Ohana, it's about family, it's about community. The woman across the street.
And it's not like you go to college forever. She's going to go to college for a few years and then come back.
And she was able to go in and out of the house.
Literally came back and just to give her a good night hug from across the world.
You don't know how often she would just go bloop, and then
I mean, there's holidays.
She's there.
I mean, like, did any of you people go to college? None of you went away to college?
I mean, I didn't go away to college, but I was definitely busy with college.
I mean, I went to college multiple times, never went away, but I mean, I mostly did it in my adulthood. But my whole point is, like, she was still making sure she's talking to her sister every night, going to see her, however, like, family. How about the fact that she's going to make something of herself so that she could be a guardian for her sister?
Here's the thing. Family doesn't mean sacrifice.
Exactly.
Family does not mean sacrifice. Family doesn't mean... And people are going to have a problem with when I say this, right? Family, oh, you have to do it because it's family. Oh, you have to see them because it's family. No, you don't. No. You do it because you love your family.
Exactly.
And if you love, and even Lilo was like, you're going to be a great, what is it, Sergeant? Marine
bio, whatever.
Yeah, she's like, you're going to be a great, like, army person or something like that. Like, Lilo wanted her sister to make something of herself. Yes. She wanted her sister to follow her dreams.
And that's the whole thing. It's not like Lilo was begging her to stay. She was supporting her too.
And again, it's not like they didn't see each other. It's not like she didn't care about her sister, but like, she needs to have a life too. And I'm sorry, but like, she wasn't prepared to be a mom. And even she was like, I like you better as a sister than a mother.
Exactly.
Hello, people. Ohana is still family in this film. So if you're watching and you're like, oh, well, that's not my Nani, then, you know, what happened to Ohana?
You can kick rocks with Beyonce. Beyhive's coming for me. Buzz.
Is that what they're called?
The Beyhive? Yeah. Beyonce fans. I don't know what Zach fans are called, but they might come for me too.
I had to get that off my chest because I was like, I don't understand how people have a problem with this. But also, I loved Stitch so much.
It was so good.
I did cry.
I think I forgot I was watching a CGI thing. Like, that could have been a real alien dog thing.
Every time he's like, can Stitch say goodbye? I'm like, Oh, here we go. I'm like, oh, here comes the tears. I'm like, oh. And then he explains about Hana. I'm crying.
Oh,
shut up. No.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. We can cry here.
But yeah, the animated, and here's the thing. When I knew I was gonna watch Stitch, I watched the animated version. I watched the second one. Stitch Has a Glitch. Oh, that one made me cry so much. Even my partner, Alex, my boyfriend, he was like, pause. I was like, oh, you have to use the bathroom? He's like, no, I'm getting you tissues.
Aww.
Like, thanks.
Oh my god, I think I just heard my stomach growl.
At least the mics didn't pick it up.
I think I did. I think mine did.
But like, yeah, like, and with Stitch having a glitch, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just not his fault, you guys. Yeah, it's really not his fault. He doesn't mean to.
You know what? I don't remember if this was in the animated one, like how it explained that he gets heavier and heavier in water, and that's why he was dragging Lilo down. And I loved how that was the part that got me when Nani like had to hold him and he was keeping her down and like she ran
like her mother. She trained again like her mom.
Yeah, that. Now you're gonna make me cry. That was the part that got it for me.
And that's something we didn't see in the anime.
No, we didn't. That was a great part. Can we also say rest in peace because the big dude with the ice cream from the remake actually recently passed away. So R.I.P. to him. That's really sad.
Oh, there was a thing where sorry, I should have given a moment of silence there instead of just
I said R.I.P.
Okay, cool. I'm an ass. So there's this thing that I watch where what's the fish's name with the sandwich?
Oh,
Pudge
the fish.
Pudge the fish. So you see her giving this fish a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
right? And
she's late to her recital, and she's like, "I can't give him tuna. You know what tuna is made out of? It's fish." I realized something like kind of like dark, and I saw something that was like kind of a dark explanation, and it was because her parents had gotten into a car accident because a really rainy night, and she goes, Pudge controls the weather,
right?
So every day she gives this fish a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in good faith that she doesn't lose anyone else.
Oh, that's sad. I will say one thing I don't know if I loved that Lilo. They showed her to be much more of a troublemaker than they did in the animated one. Like her sneaking into resorts and hot tubs and
well, she wasn't sneaking in. Her sister had
she totally snuck in with some other little kids with wristbands and then releasing this guy's chickens and stuff like that.
No,
like
you're right.
She was a troublemaker this one. But
I like that Lilo just took the extra glass and just broke it.
Yeah, and I think that like also made her way more ASD coded than it may have been more subtle in the animated. I think the real life one showed it more, and the person I went to go see it with like said the same thing. So I think you said that when you watched it with Alex, he said that like, yeah, I can see the ADHD, ASD thing.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I see it now.
And I told this theory to the person that I went to go see it with, and they're like, yeah, I totally see it. So I'm like, I love being validated.
Now, did we get the punch scene with her and the girl with the glasses that was full of herself?
They definitely started fighting or something. But she did it not because the girl was making fun of her. She did it. She got pissed off because Nani wasn't there at the recital, and I like the fact that
she was also talking about her mom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like I get a whole knuckle.
Forgive me.
A whole knuckle.
It's been a whole month since I watched it that one time, and
and her recital. Ooh.
Yeah, but I did like the fact that it was a recital that Nani missed, and it wasn't just like a rehearsal. Like there were higher stakes, and it made more sense for her to be like pissed off. Like when Nani got home, for her to be having her locked out of the house and all of that stuff that she had been doing, it made more sense why she was that pissed off at Nani. So I like that they made the stakes a little bit higher.
And in the second one, they're training for a recital too.
Yeah.
But Stitch with a glitch, And I won't give too much away, but like he's the one that messes up the recital. He doesn't mean to, you guys. He doesn't mean to.
Of course,
he doesn't understand what's wrong with him.
Oh, poor Stitchy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think we're about to run out of time on this camera here.
Okay, so did we go through all of them?
Let's go through. I think we went through all of them.
We did Jungle Book.
We did Jungle Book. We did Snow White.
And
we did Lilo and Stitch. And we did Lion King and Mufasa.
Yeah, look at that.
So let's rate them. From best to worst. So
can we do numbers first? I don't know how to rate right now.
Okay, what do you mean?
Like, are we rating like at a scale of 1 to 10? Like,
are we? I thought did we compare like which remakes were the best?
Like, which ones were your favorite?
I will say Lilo and Stitch is number 1. It was the best one out of all these remakes that we just went over.
Okay, I do have mine.
I think Mufasa doesn't count because it wasn't a remake, so I won't count it. Although it was probably the second best movie out of all the other ones that we watched. So therefore, by default, it goes to The Jungle Book, Snow White, and then Lion King, and then Snow. No, it's a tie for both of them. Like they're both losers to me.
So
I'll give Snow White. Snow White had better acting than the Lion King. Lion King is. All right.
Beyhive coming for you. Okay, so my number 1. If I put nostalgia aside, it's Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
But if I add my nostalgia, I just love the 1994 Jungle Book so much. It brings me back to being a kid. Okay. And I love that story. And not the original story, because that story is actually kind of dark, but it just brought me back to being a kid, and I just watched it so many times. So if I'm ranking it without the nostalgia, it would be Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Then I can't do Mufasa, right? Not a remake.
It's not a remake. It's not technically, but it's the second best movie out of the ones, right?
So Lilo and Stitch. Then, because I watched the 1994, then 1994 version of Jungle Book. Mm-hmm. Then Mufasa. Mm-hmm. Then Jungle Book, 2016. Then also
Snow White and the Lion King.
Oh, hold on. Snow White and then the Lion King. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it was the actors that they saved that movie a little bit. It wasn't even
the actors. It was the disappointment so much in the songs. Like so much about Disney, right? Is the songs and the music. And when you half-ass be prepared,
bro.
When you half-ass those things and then you I was like, you changed it too much. You did too little. You did what is happening?
Like it was like some parts they did too much, and then like they did too much with some of them, then they did too little with the other ones. I was not impressed. Even with "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," I was like, Beyonce.
I could not get over.
I couldn't how do bad it. That was. It was so bad.
Can you imagine anyone buying the soundtrack? Like, oh my god, I got the soundtrack.
When I tell you, I was listening to the Mufasa soundtrack before I watched the movie, and I was like, what? I always wanted a brother. I always wanted a brother. I was like...
That was a good one.
It was so good.
I liked that one a lot. I thought they were so playful. I thought they were so sweet as brothers.
I know. It's so sad what happened.
Teenage angst, man. Teenage angst.
But anyway, so I guess that's our show for today.
That is our show for today. I have no idea what we're doing next week.
I know I sent you some ideas. I think we were either gonna go into Gardner or we were gonna talk about music. Being that we're over here judging all this music.
Gotcha. Yeah, like what
I have a new vibe check method, y'all. The beauty of online dating is I ask random questions that lead me to podcast episodes. So the girl's trying to fill up her Rolodex for the summer.
Wow.
Did I sound super old? Who has a Rolodex anymore?
You know, that's a great way to know whether or not people are even telling the truth about their age. Like, you know what a Rolodex is? It's a watch. It's a Rolex, dude.
Oh, that should be a good vibe check method.
Right? Like, hey, you know what a Rolodex is? Watch?
Check somebody's vocabulary.
Oh gosh, my vocabulary is horrible.
All right. Well, you have been watching Adventures in Vanderland. I hope you enjoy your week outside of the rabbit hole, but come back next week for more. Whatever we're going to be talking about, it's going to be fun. And we out.
Bye.
Not that one.
So again, folks, grand opening, Teen Tarot, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Sky Desserts.
Thank you.
Sky Desserts.
Can we get desserts every week?
Actually, I was hoping to get Beyond the Veil baking cookies here because those are transcendent, I tell you.
Well, we do love cookies. I like salads too. Apparently,
she
they're my
makes
favorite
really
food.
good gluten-free cookies, so it doesn't hurt my because my tummy hurts.